Morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Good morning, good morning. Oh, it's Friday. We made it through the week. Yay. Today is Q&A day, so I hope you guys brought your A game. Keep me on point, right? Thanks to everyone who joined yesterday. It was kind of a different topic for me, doing men's health. Lots of fun, great questions. So hello, taking your cat to the vet. I'm sorry to hear that. I did have a request, I think it was from Kelly a while ago, to show my cat on social media. I haven't done that yet. Louis doesn't usually come out in the morning. He's a nocturnal animal. I hope your cat is okay, Vic. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. So it's Q&A, question and answer. Ask me anything. I'm just going to kind of rattle and catch you up on my life while you formulate your questions, but go ahead and start typing. I'm happy to help the best that I can through social media. But nice to see you all. It's a beautiful Friday here in Arizona, and I'm Dr. Pingel. For those of you that are new, I'm Dr. Pingel. This is your morning checkup, and most days I lead the conversation by talking about some health topic, but today it's Ask Dr. Pingel Day. So I will talk about whatever topics you guys want to talk about. So here I am. I'm very happy it's Friday. I'm looking forward to a weekend of relaxation. Last weekend, I turned my phone off, didn't go on social media, didn't check the news, didn't do anything last weekend, and it was one of the most relaxing weekends I've had in a very long time, and that is my plan today, starting at about noon. I'm just going to turn it off. Which I'm looking forward to. All right, I have a question over on Facebook. Wow, several questions actually from Lori. All right, I'm going to work through these, all right? And then Terrell, I'll come back to your question in a second. All right, so are crackers healthier than whole grain bread, like saltines or Cheez-Its? Are crackers healthier than whole grain bread? Not always. Kind of depends on what it's made of. I mean, if the cracker's made of flaxseed and chia seed and gluten-free grains, it's going to be better than whole wheat bread, in my opinion. So it kind of depends on the components. I can tell you saltines and Cheez-Its I would not consume, nor do I allow my children to consume. I don't really like a lot of processed foods at all. So that I would stay away from. Is any dairy all right for diet? I know, you guys give me the hardest time about dairy. Every time I say cut dairy out, I get, well, wait. Can I leave goat dairy in or sheep dairy in? Or what if I only do yogurt? Or what if I get more people that ask about it. My opinion is the dairy should be gone. That is my opinion. Because I see more health conditions with the dairy than without. But I do have some people that work in goat cheese and organic grass-fed goat cheese, people that are doing certain dairy products direct from the farm. I might give different information to than people that are buying them at the store. There's always exceptions, but in general, if you're trying to improve your health, lower your inflammation, improve your digestion, improve your mood, become overall healthier, just take it out. It's not that amazing. But everyone always gives me the hardest time about dairy. It's probably, and that's kind of what confirms for me that we're fully addicted to it. But yeah, so Lori, I would say, yeah, I'd take it all out. By the way, there's some awesome, you mentioned Parmesan cheese. There's some awesome dairy-free Parmesan alternatives out there. If you guys are looking for a good dairy-free cheese, I personally really like Treeline cheese. It's one of my favorites. They have soft cheeses and hard cheeses. Okay, there's a lot of questions here. I'm going to try to run through them because I don't want to miss everybody else's. Is sugar linked to depression? Yes. Is there any food linked to good mood? Yes, I actually have an article on that, Lori. Let me see. I'll see if I can pull up the link here. I think it's called the Food Mood Connection. So let me copy that link and I will put it below your comment so that you can read that one, okay? Yes, lots of foods that do improve the mood. So check out that article. I've got them listed there. Is St. John's wort effective against depression? Sometimes. That's a very long answer. I mean, it depends on why you're depressed, right? If you're depressed because your adrenal function is low, St. John's wort isn't going to do much, right? So it depends. Is it a serotonin issue? Is it a dietary issue? Is it an inflammatory issue? Is it an anxiety issue? Is it an adrenal issue? The best way to treat depression is figure out where it's coming from and then treat the appropriate pathways with the appropriate nutrition. So St. John's wort is not always the best option. Sometimes it is, right? Are memory loss and cognitive dysfunction related to stress, and is it reversible? Yes, and guess what? I've got an article on that as well at drpingel.com. So I'm going to try to pull that one up for you, and you can check that out as well. I don't know if that's going to, there we go. Is it all right to recline after eating or swim after eating? I wouldn't. If you recline, it causes more gravity to go up into the esophagus, more acid to leak into the esophagus. Swim after eating, I mean, technically, if you're not eating much, it really shouldn't matter if you go swimming. I know there's that rule that you're supposed to wait 30 minutes, and I think primarily it's because you're full, right? Your body's absorbing. You're not supposed to eat and run. We're not supposed to eat and then run and do something. We are supposed to sit and ideally take 30 minutes to eat. But we don't. We shove it in and then we run and do something else. So I think that rule of thumb speaks more to lifestyle, speaks more to whether or not you should eat and run. So just take your time. That's all. Okay, and last question from Lori is, are potatoes a good food? I like potatoes. I love sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes have tons of benefits, and guess what? There's an article at drpingel.com on that one as well. As far as white potatoes, I do use them, right? I'm not eating French fries with every meal though. So I think it's about rotation, and it's about understanding food groups and learning how to cook and when to use it when. Okay, Lori? I hope those help. That was a lot of questions. You were on it. So I'm going to go back to my feed here. I'm going to come over to Instagram. I had a couple there, and then I will come right back over there to Facebook. Okay, hang tight now. I did see Terrell. What's my opinion on eating right for your blood type? You know, I found that book really interesting. In general, I don't ever think that there's one diet that applies to everybody. I haven't found that in practice. I find that everybody's different. Everybody has different genetics. Everybody has different lifestyle. Everybody has different stress response. Everybody has different balances, but different nutritional profiles. So I think anytime there's something that comes out that says everybody should do this, even me, I write about plant-based eating all the time. It's not for everybody, okay? I just want people to see the value in plants so that they put more into their diet, right? So I think the blood type diet, I found it very interesting, and in many cases, I find it very true. However, I'm an A. I'm a type A, and I'm told that I'm not supposed to eat sweet potatoes. I eat sweet potatoes all the time. I feel good when I eat sweet potatoes. They're a good staple for me. Now, maybe if I was not a plant-based eater, maybe sweet potatoes would cause more of a problem for me. I don't know. But I do find it interesting, and I think it's a valuable book to read. Because I think it offers a lot of insight into individualized biochemistry and bioindividuality, which I appreciate. But I'm not 100% on it, if that helps. But definitely interesting. Very interesting research there. I didn't discount it at all. I just thought, well, maybe this wouldn't be for everyone. And I would say for the most part, you know, a type A blood type is vegetarian. So I already kind of follow it in some respect. I just think some of the little details, I was kind of like, I don't know. You're not going to get me to quit the sweet potatoes, really. I hope that helps. I have a specific question on fatigue. I get extreme fatigue 2 days before menses. What do you think might be the cause of the issue? Typically, it's the drop in progesterone. So what happens is during the first part of the cycle, you know, your estrogen is the one that peaks up at ovulation and then starts to drop until you bleed. The progesterone kind of stays even through week 2 and then starts to go up in week 3 and then drops so you bleed. So in order to bleed, all your hormones have to drop. Now, some women drop very gradually and slowly and nice and calm, and they don't really notice stuff. Other women go like this, whoop. And when they fall, often what happens is it can cause a lot of fatigue. And also, the other thing to also consider in that is there possibly an adrenal fatigue there, because cortisol does try to pull from progesterone quite a bit in times of stress. So that might be part of the reason why the progesterone is dropping so quickly. And in that case, you would also get fatigue. So my guess would be it would be from that drop in progesterone, and how, for whatever reason, you've got to figure out why that progesterone is dropping. Is it due to demand from cortisol? Is it due to maybe age-related changes as far as regulation of cycles? Is it due to poor liver elimination? Could be that as well. Liver support can often help with that. Sometimes using things like chasteberry berry, which is Vitex, can help with that. But that's what I would first go to and investigate. There's probably many other reasons, but that's the first thing that pops into my mind. Does that help? Dr. Thainer, I hope that helps. Okay, is coffee okay? I'm drinking a cup of coffee. Yes and no. It's very individualized. I have many people, such as myself, that have 1 cup of coffee in the morning. I really don't have any health detriment from it. It does help my elimination. And otherwise, my labs are good. I feel good. My energy is good. I'm sleeping good. And so I don't worry much about it. I have other clients who, even at a sip of coffee, it causes digestive distress. It causes anxiety, poor sleep. In that respect, it's kind of a hit or miss. I will tell you, if you're drinking coffee all day, you're changing your cortisol levels, and you're kind of throwing your body into a cortisol spin. It's not sure when it's supposed to be awake or when it's supposed to be asleep. So I definitely do not recommend afternoon coffee. Now, are there a couple days where maybe I go for a meeting and meet someone at the coffee shop and have a latte or something? Yeah. Sometimes I do, and I think that's just more situational. I don't feel like I need it. And I'm actually trying to work on that habit and order tea instead. And this doesn't happen very often. It's probably once a month. I go out and meet with different people. So I usually recommend, I should follow my own rule of not drinking coffee in the afternoon. Okay? You're an A+, right? You're a vegetarian as well. I can't wait to order your products, but I don't know what I really need to take. You know what? I do have some bundles that are kind of a starting point at totalhealthapothecary.com. There's a wellness and immune bundle. I think most people, if you're running just a normal life, right? You're going to work, you're going to school, you're doing your thing, you have a family, whatnot. B vitamins are always helpful. A probiotic is always helpful, and a mineral is always helpful. And in this climate, a zinc is always helpful. So I think looking at some of those basics are a great start. Not everybody needs adrenal support. Not everybody needs curcumin or turmeric. But my mineral, my probiotic, my B vitamin are definite pretty much go-tos, and the zinc nowadays, really a go-to. So I have a wellness immune bundle that has a couple of those. I am creating some other bundles as well, coming out soon to kind of lead you a little bit better, but hopefully that'll kind of guide you. Hopefully that gives you some insight. Also, if you want to know why, for anyone out there, if you guys want to know why these supplements are great, there are actually links on the website to a product information page, okay? And it writes out what all the ingredients do for your body in the product. So, like, for example, the one on zinc, it's a whole product workup with studies, linked to studies, what they are best known for, what this nutrient's best known for. And the same goes for all the other supplements. So when you go to totalhealthapothecary.com and you click on a product, I want to make sure I'm telling you exactly where it is. And you click on the product, it'll describe the product. For example, I'm looking at Total Energy and it has a description, and at the bottom it says, for full product information page, click here. And that will take you to the information sheets for the products. Okay, you can also go up to the top menu bar, and under our products, there's a sub menu that says product information sheets. And that should hopefully give you more information as to why you would take it, when you would take it, the studies that are linked to it, so that you can best understand and pick what's best for your body, okay? As always, make sure your doctor knows you're taking supplements, okay? I hope that helps. I'm glad you've been looking forward to Q&A day. I try to do them pretty regularly. How do we boost iron without a supplement? My favorite go-to Well, a couple, actually. Blackstrap molasses, I believe, is still the highest containing iron plant-based source. Now, one of the problems with meat is obviously if you're doing a lot of red meats, there's also a lot of inflammatory components. So I always think it's great to find iron sources in plants. Blackstrap molasses, if you can believe it, has a really, really high amount of iron. Now, you could just take a spoonful of it, or maybe you add it to salad dressings. That's been a pretty popular way to incorporate it. Also, lentils. Play with lentils, make some dals, add, cooked lentils to salads. That's another great way to get iron. There are also plant-based iron supplements. I know Garden of Life makes one, Floridex makes one, and those are nice because they don't have the constipating effect of a supplement, okay? Also, something else to consider, iron is absorbed in combination with vitamin C. So if you're deficient in vitamin C, you're not going to pull the iron from the food that you need to. So make sure that you're also taking vitamin C if you're iron deficient. In addition to that, stomach acid. Make sure there's a good amount of stomach acid in your body as well, that you don't have digestive difficulties. So not only should you be replenishing iron, this is my point, not only should you be replenishing iron, you should also be looking at why the iron is low, okay, and adding vitamin C to that as well. Now, a lot of those plant-based irons have additional vitamin C, and that's why I love them, and they're easily digestible and absorbable. Okay, I hope that helps you out, yeah? Okay, I'm coming back over there, I promise. The stress support is great. Yeah, Vitex is chaste berry. Yeah. But honestly, if it's stress related, you may not need that, but it's usually that drop. Okay? Any treatment for brain zaps? You mean brain fog? Like, do you just kind of... I do have an article. It's hard to paste on Instagram, unfortunately, not as easy as it is on Facebook. But I do have an article, How to Get Rid of Brain Fog and 7 Natural Remedies to Do So. I also have a live on that. But most common, check water. Water is one of the first things I recommend when you feel like your brain has lost its way. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I did say Vitex, yes. I was answering another question there, sorry. Check your water on the like electric shock in the brain. I don't have much experience on that one. I don't know if I can speak much to that. I don't have any reliable data on how that helps or what that helps because it's not an area of medicine that I practice. I do know there's a lot of naturopaths that are doing biofeedback, neurofeedback, and different types of, electrical stimulation to the brain, but it's not something I've been highly educated in, so I'm so sorry. For once, I don't know if I can answer that one. Yikes. All right. Over to Facebook again. Thank you for your patience. Thoughts on citrus bergamot. As far as what? As far as how much I love the way it smells? Yeah, it's great. Citrus bergamot's great. I love bergamot. I love all citrus. Are you talking essential oils, I presume, Leah? I think that's a great set. Uplifting, relaxing, would be great. Yeah, very great. Thank you, Lori. You are awesome too. I put my B vitamins in a smoothie. Is that okay? It's totally fine. I'm surprised that you can do it though. I can't do it. They're so strongly scented. For me, I can't put it in a smoothie. So bravo, man. That's great. Yeah, no problem. As long as they get in there, you're all right. Vic, elimination. As far as what, my dear? As far as going to the bathroom, constipation, what do you mean by elimination? Or are you talking about elimination of dairy? Fill me in. More specifics, please. All right. I have a question from Deb here. Hang on. Just recently you talked about good multivitamins, and I just switched to a new one that is from Life Extensions. I was previously taking an over-the-counter brand. I noticed within a day as having anxiety-type panicky symptoms. I'm pretty confident it was the vitamin switch. Could a vitamin with higher potency of supplements possibly cause this? And what should I look for in the ingredients that may be listed? I don't know which one you're taking or which Life Extension it is. Sometimes there are herbals, or there's an herbal blend in some of those multivitamins that can cause some stimulation. You could be allergic to something. I don't find that typically with a higher potency. Sometimes people say they're nauseous with a higher potency. And granted, if you're nauseous, sometimes that can make you a bit anxious as well. I would back off a little bit, maybe take it like every 3 days. Give yourself some time to adjust to it and then try again. Maybe go every 3 days for a couple weeks and then go every 2 days and see if your body can kind of adjust to that. Definitely check for herbs or inactive ingredients or anything in there that might be causing the problem. Unfortunately, it's so hard to say. Everyone is so different. But no, in general, a well-absorbed vitamin should not necessarily cause the problem unless there's some sort of physiological allergy or intolerance or something to that effect. So sorry for that experience, Deb. My multivitamin is in the works, I promise. I actually have a vitamin C and a vitamin D coming next, but the multivitamin's there. It's ready to roll out here fairly soon, so. All right, Vic, I stopped drinking coffee after 1 p.m. and you've been sleeping better. You are welcome. All right. There we go. Simple fix. What is the safest suggestion for taking hormone replacement? I'm thinking on that question because it really depends on so many different factors. I think one, make sure that you've had a full investigation as to what hormones are actually deficient. Because like I had said in my hormone talk, if you caught that one, I think it was last week on menopause, often people treat with estrogen, but they're not really low in estrogen. So in that case, it doesn't matter what kind of estrogen you use, it's gonna be worse off because you're not treating the cause, right? And then other times, like I talked about yesterday with men, often when you lower the estrogen, the testosterone naturally goes up. So if you use testosterone, whether it's bioidentical or not, it could cause more problems. So I think it's a pretty multifactorial question there. I always lean, if I've determined that there is indeed a hormone deficiency and the patient would overall benefit from hormone replacement therapy, I use bioidentical hormones, either in a cream form or a sublingual form, every time. I very rarely ever use anything else. There are exceptions, but very rarely. So if I've determined they need hormones, that's my go-to right there, and I use custom compounding pharmacies to do so. Hope that helps. How good are commercial kombuchas, like the ones you can buy in Whole Foods? They're not bad. I would say making your own would be better. We talked a little bit, was it yesterday we talked about kombucha? It was this week sometime someone mentioned kombucha, I think. Can't remember. Anyway, sometimes kombucha, you don't know what organisms are in there or how long they've been there. Sometimes they can cause more gas and bloating. If you tolerate it well and your stomach tolerates it well, I don't really see a problem. Sometimes if you're causing a lot of gas and bloating, then I would definitely get your bacterial flora analyzed before continuing with kombucha. All right, I'm coming back over there, guys. Hang tight. I got to switch between the two platforms, right? You guys are on a roll today. Is this helpful? You guys liking it? Are alpha-lipoic acid, CoQ10, and quercetin okay to be taken every day? Well, first of all, just my little disclaimer, I don't know your health history, so I cannot tell you whether you can take it every day. I can tell you that in general, individually and together, there is not any direct interaction between those. I have many patients that take alpha-lipoic acid every single day. I have many patients who take CoQ10 every single day, quercetin every single day. Yeah, so there's no direct interaction. Now, whether or not you can do that, you'd have to speak to your doctor, just because there's always a possibility that you have some underlying health condition that I could not possibly be aware of. But yeah, just so you guys know, alpha-lipoic acid is fantastic for blood sugar regulation. It's also a very potent liver detoxifier. So I use it quite a lot for people with blood sugar irregulation or hormone irregulation, particularly things like polycystic ovarian syndrome, where estrogens are really high, testosterones are really high, or DHEA is really high. CoQ10, is fantastic for energy production. It's also involved in the cholesterol pathways. There's a lot that CoQ10 can do for you. It's also a very powerful antioxidant. Quercetin, also great antioxidant, lots of health benefits, anti-allergy. I tend to eat a lot of quercetin in my diet, red onions, for example. But yeah, all of those, I don't see any direct interaction in the general sense, but please talk to your doctor and make sure. Cool? Okay. All right, back over. Please, can you tell me about my son losing hair? He's 18. I'd love to, but I can't because it depends on why he's losing hair. At 18 years old, I would lean more towards either really excessive hormone production, or potentially toxin, or potentially nutrient deficiency and stress, or medications. Most commonly, I'd say there might be some sort of nutritional background there. I think I have an article on that. I'm sure I do. All right, I do. Let me copy that over to you. It's really hard. My theory on hair loss is you have to find out why. So it's never like I'm losing hair, take biotin. It doesn't work that way. Unless it's a biotin deficiency, it won't do anything. And then you're wasting your money. And I don't want you guys to waste your money on treatments. And that's why I don't treat that way, because it's not worth the time to say, well, this is the one thing you could take. It's never that way. Biochemical individuality is key. We are all very different. Eileen, I'm not sure if that posted, but I did just post a reply with the link. And if it didn't, I'll post it afterwards. But I would definitely, in that age group, look at nutrition, look at mineral status, look at stress, look at medications. See if you might be able to find a source there. I hope that helps. Vic, you said go to the bathroom after you drink coffee, elimination. Yeah, it could be great for that because it's a stimulant to the musculature down there. Health benefits of supplements, citrus bergamot. I haven't taken or played with bergamot or citrus orally, if that's what you're saying as far as supplements. I use it in a diffuser all the time. And there's lots of medical benefits. I don't have all the studies pulled up in front of me. I mean, I know I just did a live on lemon oil, which is a citrus. I think I even talked about orange oil when I talked about fall diffuser blends as well. Bergamot is one of my favorite scents. There's something about bergamot that just chills me out. And that's the same for most. I know I have a lot of you essential oil people out there that do this for a living. Maybe you can respond on Facebook to Leah with more specifics on taking those orally. Lori, is moderate wine drinking okay? 1 or 2 glasses per month, red or white? Once again, depends. How's your liver function? How's your health? How's your inflammatory markers? How's your diet? Do you exercise every day? Right? These are the things I ask. People go, well, Dr. Pingel, is it okay if I do this? I'm like, well, it depends. If you're healthy, your labs are good, you're not on any medications, you're exercising every day, you're eating a lot of plants, your energy is good, you're sleeping good, and you want to have a glass of wine, go for it, man. Now there's other people who have fatty liver, they're on a lot of medications, their livers are bogged down, they're not eliminating normally, they're not exercising. And in those cases, I say it might not be worth the risk, regardless of the value of the grape. I do realize that red wine has resveratrol in it. I realize it has an antioxidant potential in it, but the alcohol in it may not be right for you or may, right? I've had a lot of people that by simply removing alcohol altogether have made amazing health turnarounds. So everyone is a bit different. But as far as, do I think it would be detrimental to have a couple glasses of wine a month? No. I mean, I may have a couple glasses of wine a month, not often. I'm not a huge drinker in general, but I don't see any immediate detriment, but really look at your entire health. If you have the rest of your health cleaned up, little things like that aren't going to cause too much of a problem because your liver's going to, get it out of there pretty quickly. I hope that helps. Okay, I'm going to pop over to Instagram for a sec here. What causes cold hands and feet? Lots of things. Thyroid would be the first thing I'd look at. Circulation, do you have enough water? Are you drinking enough water? Do you have circulating blood to the tips of the hands and toes? My husband would say I still have cold hands and feet. I'm also very tall. Gotta get a lot of energy to the tips of these fingers here, but I don't think my hands and feet are as cold as I used to be, and I think a lot of it has to do with me upping my water intake, improving my nutrition, and staying active. I think that all plays a very important role in keeping hands and feet. If you're looking for a physiological reason, you always want to rule out thyroid disorder because the thyroid has to do with our metabolism. I could say that stress would probably do that as well. So if all your labs are coming out fine, I would look at your water intake. You could also use things like cayenne or ginger, which provide heat. You could start cooking more with ginger and cayenne or taking supplements of sort to kind of move the blood a little bit more. That's another option. Exercise can usually help too. Okay? Ingesting frankincense. You guys, I'm not an expert in essential oils internally. I'm just not. We don't learn that in medical school. Essential oils are something I use in the air in my diffusers, but unfortunately I haven't had the training to be able to tell you on a lot of them. Now, oregano I've used, and I've spoken on that, but as far as like knowing them all internally and how to take them, I would definitely defer to someone who has that training. I think they can be very helpful. I absolutely believe in it. I just don't know enough about it. Okay. I live in Colorado and I'm trying to find a holistic practitioner. Is there a website? Yeah, I think the Colorado may have a naturopathic board, but if you go to naturopathic.org, and this goes for anyone, particularly in the United States, if you go to naturopathic.org, they do have a list of naturopaths in areas. Now, not all of them are listed, okay? I do believe you have to pay a fee to be there, but you cannot be there if you didn't graduate from an accredited school. So it's a great way to kind of sort through who's accredited. You can also search, naturopathic practitioner with your zip code, and then just make sure you look at their schooling on their bio and make sure that they graduated from one of the accredited medical schools. Lindsay, I do have an article, drpingel.com, naturopathic. Let me find it. I'll send it to you. Kind of explaining what to look for in a naturopathic provider, the type of schooling that should be there, what they should be mentioning, and that way when you look through websites, you can, get a better idea as to whether they're qualified or not. Colorado is a very popular area for naturopaths, and in fact, I can think of a few off the top of the head that are there, depending on what you need. So I know that they're there, okay? So you should be able to find one in Colorado. There are some other states, maybe not, right, due to laws. I believe Colorado is licensed now, or at least enough to have a board. So check that out. For those of you like in Arizona, if you go to the board of Arizona naturopathic practitioners, or like someone wrote me recently about California, there's a California board of naturopathic physicians. So if there's a regulating board to the state, that's always a good place to start, okay? Because you cannot be listed there if you didn't pass. Now, there are many practitioners that are not listed there, such as myself. I'm not listed there just because, usually earlier in your career you start listing. Sometimes, you just don't, but that doesn't mean, if they're not listed there, it doesn't mean they're not board certified. It just means you need to read about their education a little bit more, okay? Olive leaf extract. Olive leaf, that's a good one. I should write about that one. There's a lot of really cool data on olive leaf extract. In fact, like a lot in immune function. I remember using it quite a bit many years ago for viral infections. Epstein-Barr, cytomegalovirus. I know that it has some anti-cancer type impacts. It's great for the nervous system. Yeah, olive leaf is great. I think it's great. Most of the time when I see it, it's combined with other things. So you'll see it in a lot of antiviral compounds, general health multivitamin compounds, as an antioxidant, but it has some amazing benefit. And in fact, I will take a note on that, because that would make a great article on drpingel.com, wouldn't it? I will write that one down. Thanks for the suggestion, and then I can give a more thorough live on it. That's a great one. Send you, I'm putting all of the links, Marie, that I'm mentioning on Facebook below the comments. So just scroll through the comments and you should be able to see them all. Okay? Dr. Pingel, I do the plant-based and I take your B vitamins and minerals and zinc, but I'm still tired a lot and had my blood get done 5. Everything came out okay. It depends on what you had done. Was it 6 or 7 pages of lab work, or was it like your general, metabolics? I would definitely get a full adrenal workup. I would seek out a naturopath or some sort of functional medicine doctor or something to actually go into further depth on it. Make sure you're drinking enough water, make sure you're exercising, and depending on what they ran, I get that all the time. In fact, any of my patients out there may be able to speak to it, but they'll come to me and say, you know what, I'm coming to you, but I'm telling you, all my lab work is great and nobody can find anything. And when I look at the lab work, it's like a page long. It's like metabolics, blood count, and lipids, and maybe a vitamin D, maybe a quick thyroid screen, but it's not comprehensive enough. And all I do is run a comprehensive workup, and we find all sorts of things that are off. So I think there's always something. Here's the way I look at it as a practitioner, okay? And maybe sometimes this is a good way to evaluate whether your doctor is the right one for you, is when I look at it, if someone comes to me and says, you know what, I'm really tired, and I run labs and I don't see anything, I'm not going to send you away. It means that I haven't looked in the right place. If you don't feel well, something is wrong. Where is it? Now, sometimes it takes me a while to find it. Sometimes it's frustrating for the patient when I'm like, okay, well, it wasn't there. Let's check here. Let's check here. But you have to just keep looking. You have to find it. There's a lot of factors involved in fatigue. Sometimes just simply practicing mindfulness is overlooked. I think that's overlooked a lot. We get in a stress mode and we're always in fight or flight, and we don't take the time to recognize that brain is actually making us tired. I think that's one area that's overlooked a lot, and a lot of time that I spend with my patients saying, look, I've checked everything. It's not metabolic. We need to start looking at how you're interpreting information and causing stress on yourself, things like that. But also, often I find that the thyroid isn't converting well, or they're low in vitamin C, or they're low in magnesium, or, they're not digesting their food well to get energy breakdown. I mean, when we eat, the whole purpose of eating is to develop energy. That's our whole purpose. So if you're eating and you're not getting energy from it, something might be wrong in the digestion. So I would say, Carolyn, in answer to your question, it's just really backing up and making sure that when somebody says, I did your labs and nothing's wrong, that they actually did look at everything and then work with you to keep looking. Right? Now, there's limitations to that. Sometimes patients say, I can't afford to keep looking, or my insurance won't cover it, this or that. Sometimes there are limitations, and that's where a lot of experience in the doctor comes in, trying to pinpoint it as quickly as possible. And that's exactly why I don't run everything up front. A lot of doctors say, well, when you come in, we're going to do 10 different tests. It's going to be $6,000 to run all these tests. Well, I run them as in the likeliness of diagnosis. So if I run something, I think it's there and it's not there, then I go to the next thing, then I go to the next thing. It's a progression. That's just my style. But I find that often we'll find it before we get to that, that massive, let's do everything at once. But however your doctor moves about it, there just needs to be more investigation, Carolyn. That's my bottom point. Okay? One more question. Doctor, who does blood test for whole vitamin check? There's a couple. You definitely have to work through a physician. But SpectraCell Labs does a blood nutritional analysis through the white blood cells, which is very interesting. It shows nutritional status over 3 months. Genova Diagnostics does more like a nutritional biochemical breakdown. So it's looking at enzymes and byproducts of nutrition in the urine and the blood. That one's quite interesting as well. Very hard to interpret without a physician. So I would definitely make sure you have a physician on board. But those are two off the top of my head that really do a good job. Now, Sonora Quest, LabCorp, or Quest or LabCorp can check certain ones like vitamin D, B12 and folate, but they do have some urinary markers you can check. If you have a well-versed doctor, they should be able to check some. The way I check nutrition is by looking at the biochemistry. So for example, if someone has tons of T4, but they have low amounts of T3 and low amounts of reverse T3, I know that in order for T4 to turn into T3, it requires selenium, magnesium, bacterial flora, and it requires lower levels of estrone. So if I see that it's not converting, for example, those are the first things I treat. I see if the T3 comes up. If it does, we don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on nutritional testing, right? So I look at more in a biochemical base. But when I do have patients that want to test, those are the two that I go to primarily, okay? Any herbs or foods that are particularly good for the lymphatic system? There are quite a few herbs for the lymphatic system. Many of them are not recommended without advice of a doctor, okay? So I'm going to say that out there. For example, phytolacca. Phytolacca is a great lymphagogue. However, I would not use it without advice of a doctor or an herbalist that knows how to use it. I think anytime that you support liver function, so any of the liver herbs are going to help a lot. I use burdock quite a bit. Burdock root is a good one. So there's some of the liver ones that are a bit safer per se than the some of the direct lymphagogues. Let's think here. Red root is another one. Gallium is another one. There's quite a few lymphagogues. Lymphatics are also moved by exercise. Lymphatic massage, very gently. Seeing where your swelling is good to know too. Water's huge. A lot of people who swell or have backups in the lymphatic system are not well hydrated. Now, if you're not well hydrated, is it because you're not drinking enough water? Or is it because you don't have the minerals available to bring it into the cell? So that's another thing to consider as well. I hope that helps. I don't think there was a question above yours, but just checking. Okay, you're welcome. Very welcome. Okay, guys, I got a couple more minutes and then I'm out. So any other questions for today, or was this good for all of you? Great questions today, guys, kind of all over the map, which I love. So what I'm hoping from these question and answer sessions, yes, I want you to get your question answered, but I also want your questions to allow me to answer it for other people too who are wondering the same thing. Because I think so often we want to ask our doctors questions and we just... we don't get the time to ask it. So thank you to all of you that take the time to ask questions, because not only is it helping you, I promise you, others are wondering the same thing. Okay, so thank you so much for taking the time to ask these questions. Is ashwagandha okay for thyroid health? I use ashwagandha in thyroid cases quite a bit. However, it is a nightshade. So if you're allergic to nightshades, you can't use it. So there's some restrictions on it, but I use it quite a bit because the impact of stress on the thyroid is significant. So if you have a lot of stress on the thyroid misconverts. It doesn't convert appropriately. And so ashwagandha can help calm the adrenal glands to allow the thyroid to work more effectively. So that's why I use it. But yes, it is a nightshade. So I have many thyroid patients, particularly Hashimoto's patients, who are allergic to nightshades and I can't use it. And it's frustrating. But it is one of the main components in my adrenal line because it's incredible. Incredible benefits overall. Looking for a good diet plan, any suggestions? You know, my program, I don't mean to tote my own, but I worked really, really, really hard on my program. TotalHealthTurnaround.com. TotalHealthTurnaround.com. 30-day program, includes a recipe cookbook. There's 40 recipes, I think. Includes a daily plan, plus learning about all the stuff I talk about. There's a huge educational component to it. So the booklet talks about how stress impacts your thyroid, your digestion, your cardiovascular system, your immune system, your mind, your overall well-being, teaches you what to ask your doctor, how to identify the problems that are causing a problem in your life, and then also gives you a real structured plan to follow to start kickstarting your health. So please check that out. Let me know what you think. It is TotalHealthTurnaround.com, Tina. And I have a lot of additional recipes on my website, drpingel.com as well. So thank you so much. Thank you for mentioning that. I do think if any of you are looking for a structured program to kickstart, that would be it. And it's cost effective, I believe. You know, it's cheaper than an office visit for sure. So, and far more information and value than, you know, maybe seeing a doctor for 45 minutes. I mean, this is a full month-long plan, something that you can continue for the rest of your life as well. It's sustainable. So check that out. I'll put a link there. Okay? Okay. Thank you. You're amazing. Oh, thank you, Terrell. You have a great weekend as well. Always nice to see you here. I always appreciate it. I love to see familiar names and faces every single day. So thank you for being here and your commitment to me every morning. I really appreciate it. What do I recommend for breakfast? Oh gosh, I have so many breakfasts I do. I love chia pudding. This morning I had granola with oat milk. Yesterday I had some gluten-free oats with nuts on top. Sometimes I put berries. Often I'll do a smoothie. I do like vegetables for breakfast. I don't do it all the time, but if I go out, Often I'll do some sort of, because I do eat eggs occasionally, not very often. If I'm out to eat, I do. Or sometimes they'll have a tofu scramble or something and I'll put vegetables in it. Or I'll do a salad on the side of whatever I'm eating. I'm one of those weird people that eat salad with everything. So, okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. Have a great weekend, and I will see you Monday at 9:15. This is Dr. Tricia Pingel with your morning checkup. If you'd like to check out any of the articles, a lot of them I quoted today, go to drpingel.com. And once again, my program, if you were looking for a diet plan per that question from Tina, it is totalhealthturnaround.com. You guys have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you Monday. Bye-bye now.